Hello, everyone. I'm the Sports Quiz 101, and today I'll be giving you my predictions for Week 11 of the NFL season. So, we'll predict all of these games to take place in Week 11 after having a disappointing Week 10 where we went 7-7, got exactly half our picks correct. Hopefully, we can do better this week. As for bye weeks this week, we got the Colts, we got the Patriots, we got the Falcons, and the Saints, all going on bye in week 11. So goodbye to all of you. We'll see you all next week. So let's begin in the AFC, where we got Thursday Night Football in Baltimore as the Ravens take on the Cincinnati Bengals. This will be a huge matchup in the AFC North and a huge matchup for Cincinnati to try to keep their playoff hopes alive. However, I got the Ravens here. To me, it just feels like Cincinnati, the injuries are catching up to them. It came out today that they're going to be without T. Higgins. They're going to be without Sam Hubbard. Jamar Chase has dealt with a back issue. It just feels like those injuries are catching up to Cincinnati. I think Baltimore takes advantage, and the Ravens win this one. Next up, it's the Raiders and the Dolphins going at it in Miami. Raiders, somewhat surprisingly, 2-0 since firing Josh McDaniels. 2-0 since hiring Antonio Pierce to be the head coach. However, there is one thing about each team I know. Number one, Miami, when you're playing a lackluster team, a lackluster defense, expect Miami to dominate. And number two, the Raiders suck whenever they have to go to the East Coast. Miami is in the East. Yeah, I like Miami as my lock of the week for this week. Next up, it's the Steelers and the Browns. The other two AFC North teams involved. It's a huge AFC North battle. And here, I like the Browns. I think their defense does some damage to Pittsburgh. I think Cleveland can do just enough offensively to keep the Pittsburgh defense at bay. I like the Browns. Titans, Jaguars going at it in Jacksonville. Both of them coming off of double-digit L's this past week. The Jaguars especially coming off of a blowout loss in the hands of the 49ers. However, I think Jacksonville will play better this week. I like the Jaguars to beat the Titans here. Jets and Bills going at it in Buffalo. It feels like for both these teams, if they want to stay in playoff contention, will need to win this game. It'll take place in Buffalo. I think the Bills Mafia helps the Bills to a divisional win over the Jets. Now to the interconference matchups. First, the Cardinals and the Texans. The Cardinals got Kyler Murray back, and that led to them beating the Falcons this past week. But I believe too much in CJ Stroud and the Texans. I think they're on a roll right now. I think they got a good shot of making the playoffs. And I think the Texans beat the Cardinals. Chargers and Packers going up at Lambeau Field. And here I think the Chargers bounce back after losing to the Lions. Might be closer than it really should be, but let's be honest. I think most people would rather have the Chargers offense than the Packers offense. Most people will trust the Chargers over the Packers in that regard. Give me LA. Then it's Sunday Night Football. The Vikings and the Broncos going at in Denver. Just last week, this didn't seem like that good a matchup. In fact, you could go 2 weeks ago when the NFL had to make the decision about, are we going to keep Vikings and Broncos in this Sunday Night Football slot? They decided they were going to do it. It didn't really look like a good decision at the time, but ever since then, these two teams have just been on fire. They are two of the hottest teams in the NFL. At this point, I just like Josh Dobbs enough. I think he's playing really good. And that's going to allow the Vikings to get the road victory over the Broncos. And that's going to be my upset of the week. Then it's Monday Night Football, where my Kansas City Chiefs battle the Philadelphia Eagles in a rematch of the Super Bowl. One thing I do tend to say, do not bet against Andy Reid when he's coming off a bye. Then again, you gotta think that is neutralized somewhat by the fact that the Eagles are also coming off of a bye. Still, nonetheless, I like the Chiefs. I think the defense comes to play and holds the Eagles in that 24-27 range. The offense able to play better than they have all year coming out of the bye. And yeah, I like the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl rematch. NFC battles, you got the Bears and the Lions. No-brainer here for me. I'm taking the Lions. Especially in Detroit. Then you look at the Cowboys and Panthers. I like Dallas. This should be a blowout. Give me Dallas over a Panthers team that just been very disappointing for Carolina at this point. Giants Commanders. I'm taking Washington here. I think that now that the Giants have to depend on Tommy DeVito to be their quarterback, that changes things for the Giants. And Washington will take advantage. Tampa Bay and San Francisco. Both of these teams, legitimate threats to win their division. But one of them clearly way better than the other. I would say 49ers clearly better than the Buccaneers. And then the other matchup is the Seahawks and the Rams. Rematch of Week 1, where the Rams went to Seattle and knocked off the Seahawks. For me, I believe Stafford is going to be back for this one, which is going to be huge for LA. Especially with them coming off of a bye as well. I'm going to take the Rams in a bit of an upset. So there you go. There's my picks for Week 11 of the NFL season. If you like this, please like and subscribe for more to come in the following weeks. I've been the Sports Wiz 101, and I will see you all later.